Welcome to our channel, Till Death Do Us Scream.
Yes, season 2.
Season 2, yay!
Yes, this is season 2. I am your host, Rob, and this is my lovely undead wife, Mayhem Mel.
Hello.
As you can see, if you are a fan of the channel, we've, refurbished some things, made the channel look good, changed the YouTube cover and everything. Like, we just wanted to stylize this a little bit more, hopefully get some more eyes on the channel. So if you could help us out by liking, subscribing, definitely commenting. Commenting is very important. And
super important.
Yeah, especially in this day and age, because YouTube is just, man, it's just the Wild West. It really is.
The Wild, Wild West.
And you will eventually get to the point where you're putting all this work in and nobody will see you. So, if you love what we're doing, you appreciate the channel and what we're doing for it, just go ahead and, like I said, comment, like, subscribe. That's the most important thing you can do for us. And with that, we are going to get to our movie that we're going to be talking about, our first movie for season 2, which is
Frankenstein. Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein.
Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, of course. The one person I was rooting for in terms of the Best Supporting Actor Oscar is Jacob Elordi. And, I mean, if there's anybody that should be nominated in this movie, it was him. So, well-deserved award nomination. Guy's just out there killing it. He'll be back on Euphoria soon. He's going to be banging out Margot Robbie in Wuthering Heights.
Oh my God. Yes.
Good for you, dude. Good for you. Let's get classical and a little classier.
And a little artistic.
Sure. So, Babe, of course, we watched Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein when it first came out. You gave it a rewatch just to kind of refresh yourself. What are your feelings on this particular interpretation? Because there are tons, of course. Is this one of your favorites?
I really like this one. I really like how they got into... Well, first of all, if you go into the tones of the coloring of the movie, and with the sets that were absolutely fantastic, and the storyline was so amazing. They literally show you the end and then bring you to the beginning and then bring you to the monster story, and then they bring you back to the end again.
Yes.
And you really begin to understand that this story is about forgiveness. When it comes down to it, it is really about forgiveness and coming into who you are.
Well, let's indoctrinate the people that aren't aware. But Mary Shelley was the one who wrote this book. She was 15 years old when she wrote Frankenstein.
Yep.
Because obviously it was just a different time. She had lost a few children. She was, going through some really serious stuff. Life, like I said, was just totally different when you're a teenager.
You gotta realize too, back then, people were dying at 30 and 35 and 40 years old.
I don't know if you've ever read Frankenstein. I think Frankenstein is a little bit different in terms of, the story of most of the movies. Like, a lot different. This is definitely a lot cinematically different in terms of, style and stuff when it comes to the book.
Right.
But you can tell Guillermo has a lot of love for the,
Yeah, I really love the whole concept and the structure and the makeup of the monster too. They really put some thought into it. It wasn't like, green guy with lightning bolts on the neck.
Yes, yeah.
No, they really went to where it was. They showed the scar lines of where bits and pieces, where this was a creature that was actually put together.
He's supposed to be handsome
to create the perfect human.
He's supposed to be handsome. He's the modern Prometheus, and that's why I love what Guillermo did with the look and stuff. But you know what? Before we get into the movie, let's talk a little bit about how this came to be in terms of Guillermo del Toro's vision. So he was inspired a lot by fatherhood. He didn't have a really good relationship with his father growing up. And all of that stuff definitely shows. But
he also took in parts of him being a father. So it's like father, son, father.
Right.
So he did put 3-generation kind of emotion into it.
Well, as a father, I can also understand too that you're always afraid that you're going to bring something to the table, maybe not, consciously, that maybe your father had done to you, and bring it onto your own child. You know what I mean? There's always that fear of, just, I don't know, just kind of like, goes through osmosis. Like, this is how I was treated. This is how I treat should treat my child. And, sometimes, certain things slip through where maybe you're not going to do the right thing every single time.
Victor had no patience with the monster. Like, he had no parental bones at all. I mean, he didn't even understand the concept that you just created a new being. So as
that's
your child. So you have to, even though it looks like a full-grown adult, it is an infant. Treated as such. It's innocent.
Well, there's nothing
and pure.
Forgiving about this version of Victor either.
No, he's a horrible person.
You know what I mean? He really is just a terrible person.
He is a terrible. Oh, he always was a terrible person. Like, he was playing God. He wanted to prove that he could beat death. Well, originally it was because he lost his mom.
Sure.
But it was like he just wanted to play God and prove that he could beat death. And not only did he beat death, he made it to where that creature could never achieve death.
Well, the other fascinating thing about this movie is that, like Victor Frankenstein, of course, makes his own creature, but in his own mind, like as a young adult, also kind of felt like a creature too, because, he is of half Latino heritage and was treated as such, from his father. You know what I mean? Kind of like, sort of like a...
It's because he looked like his mom, not like his dad.
Exactly. Yeah.
He had the dark hair, dark eyes, not the blonde hair, blue eyes.
Yeah. So that's interesting, that whole dichotomy there too. Like, he kind of felt like a creature himself growing up.
Yes. His father was an egomaniac. He was an egomaniac. And his brother and anybody else was stuck in the crossfires.
But he's very much a rock star in this movie too. You know what I mean? Like, he's got like a lot of swagger.
Yeah, but he was like trying to steal his brother's fiance.
Yeah, which is something a total, like an older rock star would probably do.
Right.
Yeah.
And she straight up told him, "I've chosen, and it's not you."
But just the way he carries himself, he reminds me of like a, like a 70s rock star or something. I think that was kind of the idea that Guillermo had in terms of his costuming and whatnot. Because he kind of has like leather pants and, leather gloves.
The red leather gloves.
Yeah.
Red leather gloves.
He's a rock star. So yeah, do you want to get into the movie here?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, babe. So where do we begin? Because we talked about it a little bit.
We begin at the end. We begin at the end, where Victor Frankenstein is, and the monster are in the North Pole. It's in the North Pole, right?
I believe it's
Antarctica. It was a ship that was stuck in the ice, and they were trying to get through to the other side. They find Victor. They bring Victor onto the ship, and the monster comes after them. And that's when you get into where Victor Frankenstein starts to tell the captain his story. And then he gets into the story talking about how, how he grew up with his father and how he lost his mother to his little brother.
Well, let's go back for a second, because, when they're bringing Victor onto the ship, like, the creature is like yelling like bloody murder, "Victor! Victor!" And he's just ripping these guys apart. They have no other idea except for the fact this thing needs to be destroyed.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because his rage is just so,
he's enraged. He's totally enraged. Like, you took the one thing away from me. Yeah.
He's scary.
So Victor's telling basically telling the captain about how this creature cannot die, and it's his fault. He made him that way.
Yeah.
And he gets into the story about, how he grew up with his father being like the number one doctor in the country, and how his mother was pregnant and his mother died giving birth, and how he kept seeing this angel.
His father's played by Charles Dance. Always wonderful to see him.
Right.
In anything.
And how he keeps seeing this angel and like in his sleep, and then the angel turns to fire or something like that. And then he becomes obsessed with bringing life from death. And then you skip up to And then when his father dies, he goes to one manor, his brother goes to another manor.
Well, there's an important thing that we forgot is that, like under his father's tutelage, he's being, like he's learning anatomy and whatnot. And when he messes up, he gets his hand smacked by like some sort of rod that his father hits him in the hands with, which, comes into play later. As we're talking about, father transferring on to other fathers.
Right.
It's definitely there.
Right. You see him in this school and he's, he's showing that how you can bring dead flesh back to life. And he gets booed out and he, leaves. But then he gets followed up by one of our favorite actors.
This is awesome. This is, this whole thing, like you just like played it like it was nothing, but this is like a Return of the Living Dead scene.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. He literally attaches a battery to this half corpse and it comes back to life and he like throws an apple at it and it catches it and it's looking at it.
A ball. Yeah.
Yeah, he
throws it and the thing catches it. Yeah.
Like it's making its own decisions. And he's trying to tell them like this is real. It's making its own decisions. You know what I mean? Then
everybody in the audience is rightfully like all the doctors are like, this is an abomination.
Yeah.
Like what you're doing is so like it's just an abomination to God. Sir, you need to pack your shit up and never come do back. This again. Yeah. Like this is
So then he gets followed by this other guy. What was his name again? Lord.
Played by Christoph Waltz.
Christoph Waltz.
Christoph Waltz is, he's kind of like, he's a weapons salesman.
Right. But he was like like he said he was a doctor in the army, but he wasn't that good. But yes, he sold.
I want to mention something about Christoph Waltz. I haven't watched it yet. Melody loves Luc Besson's Dracula. And listen, if Christoph Waltz, I know he's been in Inglourious Basterds, he's been in these amazing movies, but like if he's going to be like the new Peter Cushing or Sir Christopher Lee of horror films, I'm totally into it.
Oh yeah, he's so good.
I'm totally into it. I love it.
He's so good. So he's like, I have a proposition for you. And he's like let's bring life. Let's create a monster. Let's create a new.
But you have to use the soldiers on my field.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the people being hung. So at first he's like no, and he's like, come on now, you want to do this. Unlimited funds, and he shows him the tower, and he is like, then they shake hands. It's a deal, and then he's like, but. When I ask you for a favor, you got to give it to me. Sure. And he's like, whatever. Okay. Yep. So, as they're starting to get everything together,
so he puts these together, right?
Yeah. So he meets, his benefactor's niece, who had been in the convent her whole life, Elizabeth. And he's obsessed. But this woman is supposed to be marrying his brother. And of course, he's trying to be slick and win her over because she's kind of weird and macabre herself, but she's beautiful.
Well, look,
she's stunning.
First of all, played by Mia Goth. We've mentioned Mia Goth numerous times on anything we've ever talked about. And the reason why her character, Elizabeth, is so wonderful in this movie is that, like, yes, she is a little weird, she is a little macabre, but she's very, very bright. She reads, books, she's into insects. You know what I mean? And the science of insects. So, she's not just some skirt in the movie that just happens to be.
No, she's highly intelligent and like she has her own thoughts, And then, so in between it showing the scenes of him like having like going with his lab trying to figure out how to get the lymphatic nodes, the lymph nodes and the lymphatic system and the electrical nerve system through the spine, how to connect to get, this battery to work and to actually get the body to come to life. He's also trying to woo his brother's fiance.
Yeah. He seems like the type to like think that he can get whatever he wants.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then he'll throw a fit when he doesn't.
Yeah.
And like
typical super wealthy.
Yeah. And that's the same with relationships. It's the same with, his relationship with the creature. It's all completely selfish.
Super selfish. So then he finally has an aha moment, and he figures it out, and he tests it out on this one body that he has going, and then he realizes that he had to like attach on the bottom and on the base of the spine on the bottom and on the top, and he got the body to move, and then he like, okay. So then they went to go get the lab completely up and together, bodies upon bodies. I mean, it looks like a slaughterhouse with body parts everywhere.
You know what the crazy thing is?
Because he's literally taking these bodies and he's like taking pieces from it, creating a whole new body.
You know what the crazy thing is? Because it's never mentioned, like, oh, he used to tour climb the Alps when he was a child or whatever, you know what I mean, with his family. He's like a fucking, like, the dude that just recently climbed that tower in Huge Tower on Netflix. He's like climbing up this tower like it's nothing. It's such a hard climb, and he's just like doing it like it's effortless.
Nothing in the storm.
Effortless.
Yeah. And then his buddy, old pal, when he realizes he's got the body ready together, of course, his benefactor is taking pictures of the process as it's going along. And then when it's time, he comes up to his friend and he's like, it's time, and then he sees that he has what? Syphilis?
Wouldn't necessarily call them friends.
Well, benefactor. So when he sees he has syphilis, was it syphilis? Yeah, he had syphilis.
Yeah, he pulls off his wig. He says that he has syphilis and he wants to incorporate his own brain into the creature.
And then he's like, absolutely not. Yeah. Like, no.
Like, you're sick, dude.
You're sick. Like, this is all through you. Putting that brain into that body would totally destroy, like, everything we're trying to do here. He's trying to, he's putting that spike on the top of the tower. He's coming down and he's trying to get everything all set up so he can get the monster ready to be, have the electricity come through and juice him up. And, this guy, he's like, if you don't do it, I'm going to break this.
Yeah.
And he's like, no. And he ends up, scuffling. And the one guy ends up.
So syphilis he falls to his death. He falls to his death.
Yeah. And it's not on purpose. It's like, it was an accident, literally an accident. And it's really, really gross.
There's a huge hole in the middle of the floor.
Oh, yeah.
It's like there's a huge hole in the middle of the floor. Yeah.
And then the grand scene of where he gets. Juices up the monster.
Yeah.
And then
he's
checks.
pulling levers and cranks and all that stuff. Everything that we saw in all the other Frankenstein films. But it's just all gorgeous and, he brings the monster to life. At first, it's not resuscitated.
And he's like, no. So he goes to bed. And he's like, I'm tired. And then he wakes up the next morning and the monster's standing there.
Yeah.
Looking at him.
Yeah.
At first, he's kind of scared. And he realized the monster's moving with him. And, of course, he's super excited and stoked. And he's like, Victor. And then the monster was like, Victor. And then he opens the window and
shows
he's like,
him how to touch sunlight.
the sun. And first he's scared. And then he's like, So at first, you can tell that this monster's looking at him with love and devotion. Obviously, as a child would to their parent when they're younger.
Let's talk about Jacob Elordi for a second, because first off, he's already a lean guy, right? So the prosthetics that, they gave him the muscle and the sinew and stuff, it's just so perfectly done. But, obviously his height is the thing that really makes it, he's like 6'5", 6'6" or something like that.
Yeah, he's tall.
But yeah, everything just works in terms of the look, the height, his leanness, all of that. Yeah. Perfect casting in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. And then, of course, you can tell that, he's got a lot of scarring going on. And as he's going, you can tell that it's starting to heal up. Well, the first thing Victor does is he takes him right down to the fucking basement. Locks him up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He
calls it like an insurance policy.
It's not showing care and concern for this creature at all whatsoever. He's not treating it like it's a newborn child.
No.
He's treating it like it's
like he's an abusive father. Like from the gate.
Yeah. From the gate. Yeah. It's like, he's trying to shave his head and then the monster has the thing and, he holds on to it and he's like, no, let go. you know, you could just tell as time is going on, he's getting more and more frustrated because the monster is not speaking. All he can say is Victor.
So as the creature, you know, like is, you know, stuck in this like underground lair, like chained up, like he is already beginning to teach himself. So he's looking, you know, at leaves like going into, you know, like through from the aqueduct into, you know, like into the sewer system to like, you know, get pumped out. He's teaching himself, you know, like certain things, which, you know, like he obviously just sees the beauty in these leaves or whatever, you know, some American Beauty type shit. But like, it does come into play later that, you know, like, you know, when push comes to shove, I learned something, and that's how I'm going to survive this whole situation.
Right. His brother and his brother's fiance show up.
Elizabeth,
she ends up seeing the monster, and at first she thinks that, you know, that it was just a guy that had been tortured, and then she realizes he was Korean. She's like, oh, he's innocent. He's like a pure soul, you know. And of course, Victor's like, no. You know what I mean? And she's like, no, he is. He's innocent. He's a pure soul, you know? You got to teach him. And he's not listening. Like, she's obviously pulling the whole, like, motherly.
But it's a beautiful scene because she hears him, like, moaning and whining. She follows, you know, like, downstairs, you know, follows the moaning downstairs. You know, like, she's completely fully dressed, and he starts slipping her gloves off and touching her hand. There's nothing sexual about it. It just basically, like...
No, he's innocent. He's just like, whoa, you know, he's in awe.
First woman he's ever seen.
Right. Well, then
in this new form, anyway.
Right. And then he shows his brother the body downstairs, and he blames it on the creature. And he's like, all right, we got to make this creature, you know, like, we got to destroy it, because his brother had a letter for him to be able to go to the medical. And he's like, no, I can't, you know. And he's like, you know, this creature killed, you know, our benefactor, your fiance's uncle. Yeah. And so he's like, you got to get her out of here. So he sends him on the way, and, you know, he's like...
Well, the thing that really pisses him off is that he says, you know what? He goes, say something.
And he's like...
Say one more thing aside from Victor for me to save you. He says, Elizabeth. And then he just goes off.
Yep.
And, you know, like, basically, like... After there was already a scene where he had, just like his, you know, father before him, like, you know, as, you know, was beating him in the back, you know, in the legs and shit with a rod, and then the creature bends it and goes, Victor! It's the first time you ever see this thing.
Like, angry, yeah, because he keeps hitting him. Well, then Victor
sets the place on fire.
And then he has a moment where he's going to go back, because, you know, he could hear the creature freaking out, like, Victor. Yeah, his leg gets blown off. Serves him right. Lose your leg. The monster on the creature, on the other hand,
he followed the leaf going out to the aqueduct to the outside. Yes. So that's how he learns that he could do the same. He shoots out of the thing and, you know, basically into the water. And of course, you know, because he can't die, he ends up on the shore, and he's just trying to find refuge.
We're back on the ship. In the Antarctica.
Oh, right.
Okay, we're back on the ship in Antarctica, and you know, Victor Frankenstein had finished telling his side of the story, and then they're hearing a loud noise at his door. He opens, and the captain opens the door, and it's the creature. And, you know, he's like, "Oh, I was just listening to Victor Frankenstein's story. Go ahead and prove him right." And he's like, "Oh." He told his side of the story. I'm going to tell mine.
Yeah, and then you see the creature.
And then we get into his side of the story. And then, you want to tell this part?
Basically finds this family of hunters, I believe they are, and they're getting ready to leave for some sort of, you know, situation. I can't remember what it was.
What country were they in? Was it Gaelic? Like, were they in a Gaelic? Because I feel like they're like Irish or Scottish, or they're like Gaelic or something.
I don't know.
Because they were like worshiping the old ways.
And they have a grandfather who's blind, who decides he's going to stay. You know, he's going to stay behind. And, you know, like before that, like, you know, he's teaching his, you know, grandchildren, and, you know, Victor is basically, Victor. The creature is, you know, he's basically like hiding in this like corner of the house. It's, you know, like I guess like the back
he's in the
of
mill.
wall.
He's in the he's in the mill area.
The mill facing the wall, the main wall. So he's able to hear everything that the old man's saying to the kids, and he's like teaching himself, you know, like stories and alphabet and all kinds of stuff.
Right. And you could tell the old man knew he was there the whole time too. Like when you would show the reading and then he'd flip the card so the monster could see it through the hole. You know what I mean? Like you could tell he knew that he was there. When
it comes to the whole situation with the household, he, you know, like says, you know, like, I want to do some really nice stuff for this family. So like they call him the creature of the forest,
the spirit of the woods.
Spirit of the forest.
Spirit of the forest.
You know, he like puts like a fence together for them and like, you know, like does all kinds of stuff. And they're just like, you know, thank the gods, you know, whatever. And the old man knows though that it was somebody that was hiding, like you said. Just like, I know you've been here the whole time. And it's really beautiful. I think this is the first time I actually like teared up in the movie, was that, you know, like he's just like, look, you know, stay here, drink my liquor. You know, he drops one of the liquor glasses or the entire bottle or something.
Yeah.
And he kind of shrugs, like thinking like the old man's just going to beat him.
He's like, are you scared? He's like, I'm afraid of everything. You know?
And he's just like, you know, like, we're friends. Like, you're my friend. And he puts his hand on top of his head. Friend. It's beautiful.
And then he tells him he needs to figure out who he is, and he tells him to go back. So he goes back and he finds out that he was actually created. And then he goes back to talk to the old man.
Well, there's a really great montage, you know, like you know, he's lived with this old man for quite some time.
Right.
Like, for months.
It's in the wintertime, yeah.
And, you know, like he's like climbing, you know, and he's doing his own thing and he's reading all these great books. And he says something to the man along the lines of like, you know, like, is there other books like this out there? And he goes, I'm sure there are quite a few. Because he's like reading like 8 books over and over again. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, so like you said, he goes to the castle. He tells them, you know, the man that, you know, I need to find my purpose. And, you know, like I keep hearing this, you know, this one name in my head, Victor, you know, and then so then he finds out he was, you know, like he was created. Goes back to find Wolf's head infiltrated the house. It's a really awesome scene where like he's just like ripping the backs off of wolves and like breaking their necks and and then the hunters come back
and they thought he had killed the grandpa.
The hunters come back, you know, because the old man, they have a heart to heart with each other for a second. The guys come back, it was him or whatever, and then he just like rips one of their jawbones off. And
yes, because he had put a scythe in him. That he had already found out earlier in the movie,
rip the jawbone
that
off,
he heals. He heals. Yeah, and they chased him out of the house, and then they shot him, and he falls, and he dies.
They think he dropped dead.
He dies.
Yeah,
but then he comes back. And that's when he finds out that he cannot die.
How long do you think he was laying there?
I don't know. Probably like
a week?
I don't know. A couple hours.
It didn't seem like a couple hours. It seemed like it was a day or two. But anyway, yeah, so like his next, you know, venture is to go find Victor. And, you know, he finds him as his brother is getting married to Elizabeth.
They're at their manor.
And he basically says to him, like, look, you need to make me a mate. This is how you're going to make it okay between us.
Well, it's not so much a mate. He needs a companion because he doesn't want to be alone for eternity.
Right.
Because he knows he can't die.
The only way you're going to make it right between us is, you know, by you doing this.
And then, of course, Victor has to make it disgusting. Oh, so what? You can copulate and then procreate. Have a home. Yeah. He's so vile.
And this enrages the monster, and he throws Victor, you know, and there's like all this stuff breaking, debris and stuff, and then his brother ends up coming up after. I think it was
the Elizabeth comes in first.
That's right.
And she's like, it's you, and
they're touching hands and stuff.
And of course, Victor Frankenstein, in his glorious narcissism, tells her to move, and she jumps in front and he shoots her.
Yeah. That's when the brother comes in. There's a skirmish that happens because he does the same shit that he did the last time when Christoph Waltz died. He killed her. and then of course everybody goes after him. He starts throwing everybody around, and man, his brother cranium hits this wall like boom, and you're just like, oh, that dude's dead. He's dead.
And then he talks to his, and then the creature picks Elizabeth up.
Well, he says to Victor, he says, you know, like, and this is I think this is one of the issues.
You're the monster.
You're the monster, and just like, oh, you know, some people that saw the movie, they're just like, oh, that's just like a little too much on the nose or whatever.
No, he really was the monster.
Yeah.
You know, like he the way he had behaved, there's just like, he was horrible. He was horrible.
There's a heart-to-heart between, you know, Elizabeth and Frank, you know, like the monster before he dies. And, you know, like she's basically
like, take me away. Get me out of here.
Take me away. Get me out of here. Takes her to a cave, and she dies, you know, basically like almost in his arms. And, you know, just like, I you know, I'd just be happier with you, you know, like this is never going to happen, but this is what she preferred.
Right.
She preferred being in the arms of, you know, of the creature. Yeah.
And then, of course, Victor Frankenstein has to come and start his shit again.
Right. And he's just like, I'm going to travel around the world until I'm
going to chase you.
Yeah.
So this is what happens is, you know, the creature, and Victor Frankenstein is chasing the creature, and the creature is egging him on. Like, come on, see if you can destroy me. And that's when we're back up into the Antarctica, and then you find out.
And that's all in the book, too. I mean, they go from Europe to this place to this place. He literally does follow him across the world.
Right.
Yeah.
So then, of course, Victor Frankenstein, you know, gets a bunch of dynamite, and then he hands it to the creature. And the creature's like, let's see if it works. If it doesn't, be prepared, because I'm coming for you. Run. And then, of course, it does nothing to him. I mean, it does. But, you know, he's like, all right, I could feel my body coming back together.
Well, that's the thing. This was not in the books. This whole Wolverine thing, regeneration thing, you know, was not in the books. I think it works really well.
Well, it makes sense.
Because it makes, you know, sense that, you know, the pain and suffering and agony of this thing is that
it can't die.
It just wants to die. And it can't. And it's just going to have to move on and live no matter what. It's very, very tragic. And I think it works really well.
We're back on the ship, and Victor Frankenstein actually apologizes. For real. Apologizes.
Well, through their battle around the world, like, Victor is just a broken man. I mean, like, first of all, his legs already just gone.
He's an amputee now.
You know, he's like, that, you know, dynamite explosion just, you know, like, also busted him up. He's dying. He's dying from this stupid war that he had against this creature. His son, supposedly, yeah. So, like you said, they're on the ship, and this is when Lars Mikkelsen. This is actually Mads Mikkelsen's brother playing the captain. He like has more of a softer heart, and he's just like, okay, you know, there's nothing wrong with this creature. Like, he obviously, like, he told a story, and you're the asshole. You know what I mean? Like,
Victor's laying there, and he's having a heart-to-heart with the creature. He's dying, and he's absolutely apologizing to him. And the last thing he wants to hear is the creature say his name the same way he said it the first time,
which was just Victor. Like, Victor. He just loved him.
Victor. And then he dies.
Well, he asked for his forgiveness, and, you know, the creature says, I forgive you. You know, and he calls him father and stuff. And that's the moment where I'm like, okay, but did he really? You know what I mean? Did he really? Does he really, like, I mean...
I don't know. But what I do know is that after he dies...
I understand forgiveness is divine, and, you know, like, it shows the humanity of the creature by him forgiving him or whatever, but did he really? Like, did he really deserve that?
No, he did not deserve that. So, you know, obviously he dies, and then he gets off the ship, and then he pushes the ship to the ocean, so he breaks the sailors free.
No. This is a great moment. So he's coming out of the captain's quarters, and everybody draws their guns, and the captain's like, whoa! He's allowed to leave. Like, let him go. You know what I mean? He's my friend. He's cool. And
of course, they're like, he just killed a bunch of us, dude. Like, you know.
So they're all kind of looking at him in awe, of course, you know, because, like, yeah, he does look different. Yeah, so he gets off the ship. he decides to push them off, because the thing we forgot is that they were stuck.
They were stuck in the ice, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because the captain was being a hard head, and he was just like, you know what, we're going to continue on with this expedition no matter what. And of course, the crew were getting sick, and they were dying and stuff. And then he finally does the right thing after hearing the creature's story. He's like, look, man, we're on our way home. We're getting the hell out of here.
And then the sun comes up, and then the creature just...
One tear
just looks up at the sun. And that's the
end.
end.
Beautiful, beautiful little moment for the end. And then it says... Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, which it should.
Yes.
Because this is absolutely Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein.
Yes.
You know, and I think personally, it's absolutely, well, aside from the Boris Karloff one, I mean, it's really hard to like, you know, I can't not say that's one of my favorites, but this is probably like very, very high top second for me.
Right.
In terms of, you know, and then, you know, like there was one with Sting and Jennifer Beals called The Bride. I like that one from the 80s. I mean, there's a lot of interpretations of Frankenstein that I really enjoy, but I think this is really just beautifully done. And the fact that Guillermo del Toro was not nominated for Best Director is criminal.
That is criminal.
It's absolutely insane.
That is super criminal.
Every shot can be put on the wall.
It's so beautiful. They planned it all out with the lighting, with the bouncing of the lighting, the color, the filters.
The music's incredible.
The score is amazing. Yes.
He uses the same guy all the time, Alexandre Desplat. His score is incredible. Like I said, everything.
The costuming. Oh my.
The costuming, yeah. And you know, like when you look at the behind the scenes stuff, like you could see like there is thought in every stitch. Yeah, I'm just so happy it's nominated for Best Picture, and Jacob Elordi's nominated for Best Supporting Actor. I mean, and I'll take that because he definitely deserves it. I didn't know anything about this guy. I saw him once, I think in Saltburn. I think it was the only time I'd ever seen him. I was just like, okay, this guy, you know, this guy's got that thing.
Right.
He's got it. He's got it.
Right.
This is incredible acting on his part. Unbelievable. So yeah, anything else to say about Frankenstein, baby?
Nope. It's very good.
It was very good.
Very good. I absolutely enjoyed it.
All right, guys. So that is Frankenstein. Thank you very much for your continued love and support when it comes to the channel. Like I said, please like and subscribe to the and comment. It definitely helps us out with the new season. And yeah, with that, what are we going to talk about next week? Do you remember?
Send help.
That's right.
Help.
Send help.
So good.
I'm so happy this movie's doing so well at the box office. It is a very small film, you know, like in terms of budget. Rachel McAdams is unbelievable. So is Dylan O'Brien. It's a Sam Raimi film. I'm always excited when he does another movie. It definitely has his charm. It's got some, you know, like it's got its
moments
factor where she throws up a bunch of times and there's snot coming out of a pig's nose and stuff and all over her face. It's definitely it's got the Sam Raimi stamp.
He's gonna make me puke.
But I would also say, like, I know it's only, you know, it's only February, but dude, this is already one of my favorite movies of the year. I really, really had a blast with this. We'll send an SOS and come back with Send Help next week. And with that, we'll scare you later. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.